Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura B. Flosstube. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome or welcome back. If this is your first time finding my channel, be prepared to find all things crafty. I do a lot of cross stitch, I do sewing and quilting, I do some home decor stuff. I do post some tutorials from time to time, so you just never know what you might find on my channel. If you are a returning visitor, thank you so much for coming back. Hopefully you've subscribed and liked some videos and shared them out with friends. If you haven't, please feel free to do so. And so today, instead of doing my normal routine and my normal setup, I'm trying something different. So we'll see if we like it or not. I can already tell that I have a glare on my glasses, so I'll just take those off for now. I don't need to read anything, so that's good. And we'll just talk about what I've been up to. So I have been focusing on one cross stitch chart for the past several months. Well, actually, I guess I've been working on it since February, I believe, and I've been focusing on it for the last 2 months. So all of August and all of September, as soon as I got Autumn Love finished, I moved on to Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery, houses on Peppermint Lane. So I was like 3 houses behind, but I am almost caught up with the Fat Quarter Shop Stitch Along. I'm supposed to be starting the last house tonight or finishing the last house, depending which way you want to read their chart. But either way, I'm not on the last house. I'm on house number 8 though, which is great progress considering that I was 3 houses behind not too long ago. So I decided I would put it up on my design wall so that way you can see the whole thing and you can see how it's coming together. I am so excited about this stitch. So I'm going to swing you over there so you can see what I can see. All right, so here is my Peppermint Lane cross stitch. I love this so much, you guys. I don't even know if I can tell you which house is my favorite. I love them all. So the one I'm working on right now is the Needleworker house. And let me see if I can zoom in. So here is the Needleworker house. And as you can tell, all I have left to do on this is the basket of flowers or the vase of flowers, depending on how you want to discuss that part of the design. So there's not that much left to go. I'm hoping to work on it more this evening. I don't think that I'll finish it this evening because that's quite a bit of stitching to do all those flowers and the basket, planter, pot, whatever you want to call it that it's in. But you know, I am really close. And then I just have one more house to go, which is the Christmas house, and I will be done with this amazing series. So since I have been working on just this one stitch and nothing else, this is all the cross stitch I have to show you. I do have a lot of quilting stuff to show you. So if you're interested in quilting, please stick around. I'm also going to talk about a couple of the quilt alongs that I'm in. So if you're doing either of the Lori Holt Hometown quilt along or the Moda Blockheads 5 quilt along, stick around because I'm going to talk about those. Last week, I decided that I was going to join in on the Moda Blockheads 5. I have never done any of the blockheads with Moda, but it's something that I thought, you know, this would be fun. It's been forever since I did a block of the week program, and that's basically what this is. You get one block every Wednesday, and the one that they're doing right now is really short. It's only like 9 blocks, so it's not a huge commitment. I was 2 blocks behind, actually 3 if you count the bonus, but I was easily able to get caught up with that. And then today came block number 3, which is this one here. This one. Yeah. Y'all, I have never, ever, I feel like I'm playing a game. Have you ever, you know, never have I ever done foundation paper piecing, but that is what they threw at us this week. But look at this. It is so amazing. I love it so much. My points are really good. And this is even with, total disclaimer here. When I was putting this quilt together, or this block together rather, after I got it pressed, I realized that I had a hole in my fabric, like right there. And I'm like, what am I going to do? The whole thing was foundation paper pieced. It's not like you can just, you know, what do you do? So I was like, okay, just be brave. If nothing else, I'll have to just redo the whole block, right? But I didn't. I carefully ripped the seam out and ripped this little section out and cut another piece of fabric and was able to sew it in and trim it off. And I don't think you could tell. If I didn't tell you that there was a replacement piece of fabric there, I don't think you could even tell that I had issues with this block. But like I said, full disclosure here on Laura Lee Flosstube, I will tell you all of my mishaps. But look at this. This looks so good. I love it so much. So this is Moda Blockheads 5. It's block 3. I am using the Basic Gray Decorum line by Moda. So all of my fabrics, except this background fabric here, are the Basic Gray Decorum line. All right, so let's talk about the other blocks. Okay, so this was block 2. This one came out last week. And it is, I love it. It's so fun. I would say the only thing that was a little tricky for me, again, something new, I had not done the quarter square triangles with triangles. I've done them where you cut like your squares bigger and then you just sew them, make the quarter or the half square triangles and then flip them and then make your quarter square triangles. Well, you can't do that with this design because all 4 of them are the exact same. So when you do the quarter square triangles in the method that I just discussed, you have mirror images. So like some of them, the blue and the gold would actually be reversed. So when you put it into the quilt, it would be backwards. So you'd have mirror images. Anyway, so you couldn't do that. You had to cut the triangles, which again was new for me, but that's great because I love, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this weekly block quilt along was because I knew that they would be doing things that I had not done before, and I wanted that experience. So some quarter square triangles, some foundation paper piecing, and then block 1, oh my, let me swing this up. And I understand this angle's a little weird, but just work with me here, okay? This block was block 1, and I love it as well. I mean, I love all of these blocks. I'm just gonna be full disclosure here. I love them all. But this one was a lot of fun and a lot of work. You definitely need to pay attention to the directions. If you haven't made this block, pay attention and think about your color choices because you wanted it to look kind of like it was shadowed. And so depending on where you put your light and your dark in this outer ring, it really kind of makes your star look like it's 3D. So I was very careful and followed their directions and it worked out. I am very happy with the way it worked out. There's a couple places where my points aren't perfect, but they're pretty darn close. So I was happy with that, and that was not foundation paper pieced, so I was really happy that my points were that spot on. Okay, so their bonus block is this one up here, and this one is actually designed to be like the label for the back of your quilt. I have an idea to use this for an autograph block, and I hope to do that soon with the local quilt guild. I have plans. So if you're in my local quilt guild and you've seen this block, go look up the pattern because you're going to be making some of these eventually. So just get on it. Spoiler alert, use your favorite color. All right. So like I said, this is the autograph block. That was the bonus block 1, and this was block 1. Week 1, block 2, week 2, and then this week is the foundation paper piece. And these are all Moda Blockheads 5 with Moda, obviously. There is a Facebook group, so I would highly encourage you to join that group if you're going to do these because they have lots of tips and tricks. And I was so thankful this morning because this block here, I was like, how am I going to do that? I've never done foundation paper piecing. And I went out to the Facebook group and they're like, hey, we have a video for you. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. So I went and watched the video and it is done. So that is super, super fun. All right, so you got a little sneaky peeky over here, I'm sure. I'm also doing the Lori Holt hometown quilt along. So let's move over there a little bit and we'll talk about those blocks. Okay, so for these blocks, we're just gonna go in order of the way that she's doing them on her blog. The first one she did was the flag house. If you have not watched my applique tips and tricks, tips and techniques video, tune into that because I do share a lot of good information that may help you when you're making these blocks. If you have not started this quilt yet and you still need to cut your fabric and things, I also have a video on that, on just some quilt prep. So on how to get organized and how to prep your materials and how to sort them. And I share lots of information, so make sure you check that out if you haven't. So this is the hometown flag house. And then on the other side, we have the topiary house. And this was the second block she did. She's doing blocks on Mondays and Fridays every week. So this was the second block that she's released on her blog. Super cute. There wasn't really anything, the only thing tricky about this block was the picket fence on the top of the roof. That was a little tricky to get the spacing to look right and to get all that stitching done when I was machine appliquing it. But other than that, this block was pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do. All right, so now down to the second row. All right, so here we have the pineapple house. This one was released on Monday, and yeah, there's nothing really tricky about it either. There was one, this is actually 3 pieces because you have a triangle, and I don't know what that is, maybe a trapezoid, I think, and a piece of bias tape here. So to make this planner, so that was a little different than some of the other things that I've done before with her, but this was pretty easy to do and went together quite nicely. Now this one I am working ahead because I have plans this weekend. My husband and I are going out of town, so I've done enough of her quilts that I know kind of how it goes and how to get things done. So I have gone ahead and done the sunflower house, which she'll have on her blog on this Friday, which is September 29th of 2023. But otherwise, this one is finished. The only thing that was a little different with this one was the way these planters go together. This is actually a strip of fabric that is sewn into 2 other pieces of fabric. So you sew those together and then do your Sew Simple shape around those and stitch and flip. And then you have this nice little finished planter with no bias tape on this. So that's super fun and super easy to do. Lots of leaves to turn out. I don't know if I cut wrong or if the guide was wrong or what happened, but I was missing 3 of these leaves. So I did have to go back and cut out some more interfacing and trace my Sew Simple shapes and get some fabric together to get all my leaves that I needed for this sunflower house. So those are the ones that I have done so far. I know she's supposed to be releasing a video later this week on how to do some of the piece blocks that go in Hometown. I have not started any of those. I really haven't even looked at them because, well, I've been busy with other things. Other than that, that's pretty much what I've been doing in my little crafty world. Like I said, my husband and I are going out of town this weekend. We're going to a car show. So I plan on taking my houses on Peppermint Lane with me to stitch some there. I'm hoping to get this Christmas house started, but I don't know if I can sit and stitch on just one thing for like that long because it's like from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. Not that I would stitch the whole time, but I may take the Prairie Schooler Santa for 2023 with me and get that started because I have been wanting to get that started, and it would just be a good time just to kind of, you know, have the day to focus and do whatever I wanted as I walk around and look at cars and take a break and sit in hopefully the shade. It's supposed to be like 85 or 87 this weekend. So hopefully I don't burn. Anyway, I will remember the sunscreen this time, not like the last car show. Goodness me. All right, so other than that, I have been continuing to do some little quilt tops for service projects for our local quilt guild. And I do have one of those that I can show you real quick. Let me scoot this back so I can hold it up. So this is just a little rail fence kit. Cannot believe our service project lady is amazing. She and her sister put all the blocks together for the quilt. And so all I had to do was sew the blocks together and then put on the borders. And I do think I'm probably going to do a tutorial on one of these pretty soon too, on just some time savers when you're doing rail fences. Or I don't know if you would consider this a rail fence really, because I mean it's rail fence blocks, but you can't really see a fence in there, I guess. But anyway, it's really fun and really great. Cute quilt for a service project and real quick and easy to put together. So that is what I've been doing in my crafty world. I hope you've been having some time to craft and finding some time to stitch, either on cross stitch or quilting or whatever you do. And that's really all I have for today, guys. Yeah, my room's a mess, so don't judge me on not sharing too much of that. I have had some comments and questions about doing a room tour. My room hasn't changed that much. If you go back to Flosstube 14, I did a room tour then, so that's pretty much the same that I have now. I know people have also asked me on how I organize different things. I may be brave enough one of these days to show you inside my closet, but until then you can just pretend that it's perfect and lovely and organized to the nines, but it is not. It was at one point, and then I kind of used stuff and then it wasn't organized. So anyway, that is all I have to share with you this week. I hope you've had some time for crafting, and I hope you are having a great time in your world. And until we meet again, happy stitching.